so we'll see.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. How are y'all doing?
All right.
Good. I have the privilege of talking with you all about body image today. It's a sticky topic. Everybody likes to get quiet on me, but I think we can make it fun enough that I can keep everybody awake and talking throughout the majority of the conversation today. So my name is Tamara Smith, and I'm a health educator by background. I currently work with Novant Health. I oversee our community investments. There's never a dull day in my line of work, but I've worked with Dr. Brown and Miss Merriam for several years now, so I'm excited to be with you all today and kind of share some of my insights and hear from you all so we can learn together. So before we jump into the topic of body image, let's do our chats portion of our conversation today. So challenges, habits, attitudes, techniques, who wants to share? Yes.
It was a challenge this week because teachers are on spring break.
That's right. This is spring break.
I drank lots of water, but when I was venturing outside of town, I ate lots of different food. But I did keep the water.
That's good.
So that was a challenge, just being on spring break.
Has anybody else had spring break challenges? Yes? Yes? I'm seeing some hands, some spring break challenges. Who has a really cool technique that's worked for you over spring break? So I'm hearing you were able to keep up with the water habit, so that's good. Any other cool techniques anybody developed? Oh, everybody looking down now. Like, look, I know I had challenges, I didn't say I had techniques. So what about when you travel? Hey, how are you? What about when you travel? Anybody come up with a technique for traveling? Anything cool you do? All right, so I travel a lot with my job, and so what I have learned, because I didn't like coming back from traveling and needing to do extra work in the gym. So what I've learned is to bring, I have these little green bars that I eat, and they come in peanut butter flavor and almond and a chocolate flavor, but they're only like 180 calories, so it's a really good snack that typically fills me up in between meals. I pack a box of those in my suitcase. So no matter where I go, if I need to reach for a snack, instead of picking up something at Starbucks, which is what I would typically do, I'll just grab one of my bars, and that way I kind of keep to the plan. It's not foolproof, but it helps. It definitely helps. What else? So in addition to spring break, which was a challenge this week, y'all, spring break came on the week after Easter, right? So how was Easter for everybody? Is bad? Okay, I'm gonna stay away from here. I'm gonna come on this side. Did anybody do something really cool for Easter, or at least try something, even if it didn't work, from a healthy eating standpoint, or just healthy lifestyle standpoint?
We went out as a family, like we do on most holidays, but I purpose to get something healthy. We went out to eat this time instead of everybody cooking. And so I made sure that I got something reasonably healthy.
So you got something reasonably healthy at the restaurant?
I did.
And what was that like? Because I know you were probably looking at all the other options.
I mean, yeah, because I'm a meat eater. And
Yeah.
so usually I'm like ribs, something big and greasy and saucy. But I ended up getting something. I ended up getting like Thai chicken and salad. It was good, but it wasn't. So I was full. I wasn't full that I should be, and that did knock out sleepy full.
Okay, so you didn't get that after church nap.
Right. Exactly.
But you were satisfied.
I was. Though. It was
Good.
good food.
Good. Well, that's a great technique. Anything else? Anybody else want to share? So I already feel myself not paying attention to time, so I'm just going to set up my timer real quick so that we can get through everything. So let's talk about what we're going to learn, what we're going to talk about today. So body image can pose considerable challenges. We're talking about self-esteem, mental well-being, and physical well-being. Body image can really affect all of those different areas. So that's why it's really important to talk about it as it's related to weight, and weight matters. So during this session, we're going to talk about how it's interconnected to weight, one's self-image, one's self-esteem, and we're going to talk about the perceptions, the attitudes, some of the resulting actions and behaviors that are formed sometimes when you don't even realize it as a result of body image. Some of our objectives that we're going to walk away with is we want to make sure that we've developed and thought about some practical applications of what you can do once you walk out of here, how to identify some of those thoughts that might come, and where those thoughts originate. So that's going to be really important as well, because we really can't get to developing some practical applications until we spend some time thinking about where those thoughts originate. Cool? All right. So we're going to start off with an activity. So in your notebook, and it's under session 5 on page 4, you should see a little silhouette, a little body silhouette right here. It looks like this. Everybody see that? I'm going to do it like they do it in church. When you got it, say amen. All right. So at your table, you're going to work with the folks at your table. And before we do this exercise, this is actually part of it. I'm going to do something real quick. Everybody close your eyes. Everybody have your pen in your hand? Okay. So on one side of this little man, or person, whoever it is, I want everybody to close your eyes real quick, and I'm going to give you 2 seconds. If it takes you longer than 2 seconds, you're not doing this activity right. You're overthinking it. So don't overthink it. Just do what I say. I want you to write down the name of a man that has an ideal body. 2 seconds. Go. 1, 2. All right. If you don't know the name, just put like the association, like that guy from that movie. You know. Okay. Same thing. This time we're going to do the other side. Write down the name. Close your eyes real quick so you can focus. Write down the name of a woman with an ideal body. Go. 1, 2. All right, we're done. So, with your table, I think everybody's sitting with somebody, so good. So with your table, you all are going to list out some of the key body characteristics. I'm saying body characteristics. If they have a great personality, that's great. But we're talking about body image today, so no bonus points for personality. But body characteristics that each person has. At your table, you're going to share, and then we're going to talk about it as a group, okay? All right, y'all have 5 minutes.
No, you can't be by yourself. Well, I say here to my people.
So, what did everybody put down? Let's talk about what your group discussed. Let's start with the man's body first. That's always entertaining. All right, what do we have back here?
Okay, we chose Omari Harvey.
Oh,
Who? Omari Harvey. From Howard. Okay. Hang on, settle. Let's hear what they got. Skin tone, athletic build. What else?
good looking.
Six pack. What else? So we got skin tone, build, 6-pack.
Okay.
Tone body. Muscular. What else? We're talking about the ideal body for a man. Muscles. All right. Y'all being shy, but it's okay. What about the woman's body?
No fat.
I heard somebody say no fat. Good gracious.
Tone's a better word.
Toned, okay.
Good shape.
Shapely. What does shapely mean?
Everything means
Curves. All right. Curves anywhere? Or just specific curves. Okay, specific curves. What else? Curves and the right places, not just the old curve. Tone. You know, I would just like to observe that the men are especially quiet in here. And the other classes, I wish they would have been a little bit more quiet. But
I noticed that too, so I was gonna step up with it.
You were gonna step up? Okay,
Right,
what's
I
your
got you.
feedback?
I got you, bro. I picked Biblical Fox for pre-enhancement biblical Fox.
Oh,
I have
the
been.
original
It
biblical.
was biblical, yeah.
Okay. What else?
The tummy area, you want that flat?
Yeah, the flat tummy. That every woman and man, because we did say the man's supposed to have a six-pack, right?
Right.
Everyone is expected to have this flat tummy. Forget bearing children. They're just supposed to be flat. Okay. Okay, so I gave y'all 2 seconds to write down a name. And this has come up in every class, so I'm just going to go ahead and squash it. Because a lot of people have said, well, this isn't what I view as ideal. You know, that's not the standard that I hold for myself. But when I told you you have 2 seconds to write down a name, that's the first thing that popped in your mind, right?
Yes, it was.
So let's just marinate on that for a second. And then let's take that to kind of explore where that name came from. Okay? So where did that ideal in your mind come from?
I think that society just has portrays the black male as hyper-muscular and a certain way. And so when I picked my male choice, it was more, I guess, stereotypical as opposed to my female choice.
Yeah.
And so actually that one was easier. No lie, that one was actually easier. Because I figured most girls don't like this guy. So.
Well, what about what you thought? I mean, for ideal body image for a man, it was easy for you to think of man characteristics.
Aside from myself, I'm not really judging a lot of men. But I picked Michael B. Jordan, right? And so I followed his career from The Wire and stuff, and I saw him in Black Panther, and I was like, dude, this buff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I imagine that he would be ideal for most women.
Okay. Okay. Now we had T'Challa over here. Y'all got Philemon. You might want to keep this, you know.
Yeah, we had to try.
Okay, all right. So, but where did the ideal, let's unpack this a little bit. So we see it on, you know, magazines is what most women kind of identify as being attractive.
Stereotype.
On what?
There's a lot of stuff stereotyped.
There's a lot of stuff stereotyped. Joyce?
I chose the gentleman from Black Panther also, but I think my characteristic, my first thing I put down was smooth, and I say why. It wasn't just the physical, it was the confidence that just eased out of him that attracted me.
That's an interesting point. You know, everybody, I think in almost every class, somebody would bring up posture or confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And isn't it interesting how in most of the images that we see of what the ideal body is, that person is also confident
Yes.
and smooth, you know? What's up with that?
May I add one more thing?
Yes, you may, Joyce.
And Angela Bassett for me, because she's an older woman, but she has grown, she aged graciously, and that's what I desired to do. So that's why I was attracted to her.
Very good.
It's your self-esteem too.
Uh-huh.
A lot to do with it.
So does an ideal body equate positive self-esteem?
Yes. Well, it can. It depends on. It can. It depends on if they love the body that they're in.
That's right. But why don't people love the bodies that they're in? Why is there this hyper muscularized attention on men? You look at any men's magazine and the men on there have so many muscles, you didn't even know you could have that many muscles, right? Or a woman's magazine, sometimes there's too many muscles, yeah. Sometimes I'm concerned, you know? You're gonna pop something in a minute.
And it depends on what you like, the individual like. It can be curves, it could be not curves, it could be big butt, no butt, wide hips.
So this
And
is
for
great.
the man, it could be, you know, they want muscular, or sometimes they don't want muscular. They want a man that's 6'3", 6'4", you know.
So this is a good
Tall,
point.
dark, chocolate.
And I think that this is really good conversation, but we are right here on the surface. What I'm asking is, where does this come from?
Oh, I could tell.
On television?
Celebrities.
social media,
Celebrities.
Advertising.
hang on just a second.
Right there.
I follow him on Instagram. He loves himself.
Shamar, so she's saying she follows Shamar Moore on Instagram. So on social media, he really loves himself.
I mean, he loves himself.
Okay?
From our families.
Come on. Yes. So, a big part of this does come from the media. If not the majority of the influence. And it's not just TV. It's radio commercials. So even when you're not visually watching it, come out you commercials and movies and everything else and TV shows, you're hearing, try this diet pill, get a six-pack abs, and try this new whatever, and try that, and purchase this, and no money down, and whatever. We're seeing it in magazines, we see it in ads, we see it in a lot of different places. So the media is influencing what we see, the media is influencing what we hear, the media is influencing even developing an appetite for things that we didn't even realize that we wanted until we saw somebody confident on TV with it, or somebody who had a radio ad about it, and all of a sudden we want it too. You didn't know you wanted it 5 minutes ago.
Exactly.
But then the other point that I wanted to make sure we drove is the impact that these images have and our belief about what the body should look like when it comes from our family. So let's talk about that. So, kind of nod your head in agreement if anybody in your family ever told you you need to lose weight. Yes. Nod your head in agreement, and even if it wasn't your family, if somebody in a tight-knit circle of friends or a teacher said something to you, even if it didn't have anything to do with weight, that discouraged you, that made you think about your own identity somewhat differently. This happened to all of us. Every single human being on the face of this planet has been told something, whether it's true or not. Everybody has been told something contrary to what you might have previously believed about yourself that made you begin to question and test whether that belief is true or whether what they're saying is true.
Right.
And so a lot of times when it's in a formative environment, like a teacher or people you trust, your family, it's said there, you got the word, you got the message, it's marinating, you go out into the world, and that assumption is tested and proven positive in the media, and the things that we see, and the things that we're attracted to, then all of a sudden you form beliefs. So there were some questions we were going to talk about, but I pretty much hit all of them. The main question I want you to consider, we're about to watch a video, but the main question I want you to think about as we're watching this video is how do these ideals, and even the origins of these ideals, impact individuals who are overweight? We want to make sure we're threading the needle through the weight matters conversation. Okay? All right, so we're going to watch a video.
What's a super easy way to tell that your bed is awful? Raw egg test. Let me prove it.
So y'all might need to lean in just a little bit to hear it.
I was raised in an all-white neighborhood in the 60s. And if I came home and said that somebody had called me the N-word, I could be certain that my mom would say, well, they're wrong. You are not that. You are as good as anybody else. And if I came home and said that somebody had said that I was not as good as a boy. Well, I could be certain that my dad would say, don't listen to that. You can do anything those boys can do. Even better. And if I came home and said that somebody had called me fat and said that I wasn't as good as somebody thin, well, I could be certain that I would be told, they're right, now lose weight. And my community of loved ones would support that. I started taking dance classes when I was 3. Not that I loved it, but I was good at it. By the time I was 7, I was one of the dancers that my teachers brought in to demonstrate the steps to the younger children. It was a source of great pride for me. But when I turned 8, I started gaining weight. So one Saturday, I'm standing in front of the admiring foreign body, head high, in position, ready to demonstrate the step. Mid-step, our beloved teacher looks in the mirror, turns to me and screams, "You are getting so fat!" End of great pride. Beginning of self-hate. There were other dance classes, and I sang in choirs, and I wrote poetry, acted in plays. But looking in the mirror after that, I didn't see someone who had talent. I didn't see a beautiful black girl. I didn't see me. I just saw fat. So, up and down the scale I went. Hate what I saw in the mirror, need to feel better. Feel bad about eating too much, eat to feel better. Lose weight, eat to celebrate. Gain weight, eat because I hated the fact that I couldn't keep the weight off. Hate the weight, eat to feel better. I was on an emotional roller coaster ride. There's so much talk today about this war on obesity, and I'd like to think that people are well-intentioned, but they're coming from this place of wanting us to love our bodies enough to want to take care of them. I said I'd like to believe that, but I can't. Because wars, even metaphorical, create hate, not love. And this so-called war on obesity, it has created a normalization of looking down on anyone who's seen as overweight. It has created the opportunity for people to assume the worst of us, to offer unsolicited advice. Well, if you just tried the grapefruit diet, it worked for me. It has created the last socially acceptable form of outright discrimination in this country. We must have a civic for Bergen and lunch encounters of hatred. We must move not out of hate, but out of love. Love for ourselves and these miraculous bodies that we've been born into. And love for our children who deserve to grow up in a world where body diversity and holistic wellness are celebrated. When I was in my late 20s, I just missed ballet so much. I had to take a class. No big risk, I thought. I'm never going to be a dancer at this point. So what if I'm significantly larger than everyone else in the class? My soul needs this. So there I am. Poised again. And the teacher walks over to me, stands in front of me, and says, "You are very good." She saw me, not only, not under me, just me. And the weight of the hate got lighter in that instant. I started singing again. I started writing and acting. I started dancing again. You See, mirrors are not meant to reflect what we don't already believe about ourselves. And what I believe about me today is that I have a lot to offer the world. And making healthier choices, both emotionally and physically, result directly from me learning to love. Each and every person on this earth, regardless of race, class, age, gender, ability, religion, sexual orientation, and yes, size, has something special to offer. We must lay down our arms and stop sowing hatred. We must reflect back one another's intrinsic worth. And love is the only way. Thank you for listening.
So, what do y'all think about the video? Interesting? Did y'all catch the comment that she made about mirrors? What was it?
So it was not meant to reflect what we think.
Basically, I know it's kind of confusing. Like a double view on the screen. Okay, there we go. Basically, she said, mirrors are meant to reflect what we believe about ourselves.
Okay, that's what it was.
And so let's go back to that notion of belief. Remember she was saying that she was a little girl, she was the one that showed everybody how to do the moves. And she had great pride about that. So her teacher stood in front of her and all the other kids in the class and told her, what? You're getting so fat. She ran home, tested to test the assumption, to test the belief. And what did her parents say? You're right. Go lose some weight. Get out of here. And so that belief now became true. And then she went through these cyclical patterns. Hate what I see in the mirror. That's the belief. And so somehow a behavior came out of that. I'm gonna eat to feel better. I hate my weight. That's the belief. There was a resulting action that came out of that. I'm gonna eat to feel better. I feel bad about eating too much. Belief, resulting action. I'm gonna eat to feel better. I've gained weight. I'm gonna eat to feel better. Last but not least, one of my favorites, I lost weight. Hooray!
Eat to celebrate.
I'm gonna eat to celebrate.
Yes.
This very cyclical, negative behavior pattern that kept her stuck. All resulting, if we think about the origin, which is what we've been talking about, the origin of that thought from a very young place related to body image. And what she believed her worth was connected to as a result of her own body image. So, let's unpack this a little bit for you personally. Where do some of these cyclical actions come from as it relates to the beliefs that you might already know that you hold in the back of your mind? They're kind of these secret little, they're like little secrets that really only you and your subconscious know that you hold about yourself. Everybody has them. It may not be related to your weight specifically, but like I said earlier, every single person on a daily basis is challenged with filtering through your thoughts. I forgot the exact number, but like the average person has just ridiculous number of thoughts that flow through your brain on a daily basis. And if you think every single one of those thoughts is positive, we need to do a little deep dive into everything that's going through your mind. So if you look in your workbook, let's look at this next page. So we're going to unpack where these cycles, what is the thought behind some of these cycles? Yeah, I took my kids to a puppet show. I have a almost 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. Couldn't be more different. Couldn't be more exhausting. But for some reason, me and my husband thought it was really smart to take them to a puppet show a few weeks ago. And so we get there, and you know, they have the little box that's set up, and the people, they have the black sheet over the box, and then there's these puppets that come out, and you know, they're all talking to each other, and my kids are having a blast. They think that these puppets are real, it's happening. Well, at one point, we were sitting kind of on the side. At one point, somebody behind the stage tripped a little bit. And the curtain just kind of went whoosh. And you could see in that split second what was really going on behind the scenes, right? And my almost 2-year-old was like, look! Like he made a discovery. This is not real. There is something else happening underneath the surface. So we want to unpack what's going on underneath the surface. So there's this model, the cognitive model, about where your actions come from. Believe it or not, you just don't do stuff. You don't just aimlessly walk around and you just up and surprise you ate that Twix bar that was in that Easter egg. You know, I don't know how it got in your mouth. There's actually a series of things that happens before you ever even get to the behavior. So there's an activating event. There's the belief, how you process, how you filter that event. There's the way that you feel about it, and then there's the resulting action. So let's use this example. I stepped on a scale, and instead of losing weight, I've gained a pound. That hasn't happened to anybody in here, have you? Just want to make sure I'm using a real life example. Activating event. So there's this belief sometimes that people hold, not anybody in here, of course, but that people hold. I've tried to lose weight before, and it doesn't work. I'm never going to lose weight. That's a belief that came from this activating event, and now you're about to test that assumption. Because you're annoyed, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, and because you hold this belief that has been tested, and you feel like it's true, you throw out the meal plan. I'm skipping the meal plan today. I'm skipping the exercise plan today, because I'm never going to lose weight, right? Well, guess what? You're not. You are exactly right. You are not ever going to lose weight because you are confirming your own negative belief over and over and over and over again. And it just lives back here underneath the sheets until I come in and like, oh, what? There's something up under there. So, next one, the snacking habit. Oh, I haven't messed it up. Let's see. No, that didn't really help, but it makes it interesting. So, wake up at 2 a.m. This may or may not happen to someone named Tamara that lives in my house. I need a snack to help me go back to sleep, because that's going to help me go back to sleep, right? If I don't eat my snack, I'm going to stay tired. I'm going to stay sitting in my bed, just feeling like if I would just get something in this belly, I'll go back to sleep. So I feel a little unfulfilled. So my assumption is, if I don't eat, I'm going to keep being unfulfilled. So, you know, the next morning, when the rest of your mind wakes up and you see in the pantry half of the box of Oreos is gone, and you're like, who did this? It took over my body in the middle of the night and, you know, just ate all the Oreos. So now you have this habit of late night snacks. Because you have this belief, if I don't eat, I'm just going to stay here. Really? So, everybody holds these ineffective beliefs. The key is you gotta look closely for them. They're very insidious. They're typically frequent, but we're used to them. And so it's kind of like, it's like almost like that mosquito in the middle of the night. That you're so tired and you don't want to wake all the way up. Because you wake all the way up, you'll end up eating half the box of Oreos again, you know? So you just kind of tolerate the mosquito. And every once in a while, you're kind of bad at it. But, you know, unless you actually get frustrated enough, because that mosquito has literally, I mean, it feels like it has implanted itself right on the inner eardrum. Thank you. I mean, it is just that. I didn't know who's making the noise. And I was like, where is the mosquito? But after a while, we tolerate the thoughts, right? So we get used to them, you know? Every once in a while, we might pipe our heads up and be like, no, that's not true, I'm better than that. Good. And you make a good decision. But for the most part, they've actually kind of like become a part of who we think we are. So what I want everybody to do is just take a minute by yourself, look at the man in the mirror. I'm talking about yourself, of course. And like what speaker said in the video, what she realized was that the mirror, when she would look at the mirror, she would see what she already believed about herself. So what are some of those ineffective beliefs that you already hold on to, that you already believe about yourself? The minute you look in your mirror, it's right there. It's kind of like that 2-second activity I did with you. Close your eyes, 2 seconds, give me a name. It should be that. I mean, if it takes you longer than that, you're overthinking it, like I said before. To just identify what some of those limiting beliefs. So it's called ineffective beliefs here. Call it limiting beliefs. It's the I'm not whatever enough. I need whatever to be happy. I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever. And I will say that yes, like you get to a point in your life or to a point in your own growth where you can overcome these thoughts. It's not impossible. And that's actually why I'm here today, to try to help teach you and provide you with tools on how to overcome the thoughts. That doesn't mean they go away completely. And if you're not diligent, if you're not careful, these things will continue to control the activity that goes on above the surface. Everybody with me? So I want you to just take 2 seconds to think about what negative and ineffective stories do you hold that might be leading to destructive behaviors as it's related to your weight. Just think for 2 seconds about that. And I'm going to give you a challenge. So there's a blank section on that next page, or on the same page, one of those pages. And we don't have to do this today. We're not going to do it right now. But what I want everybody to do over the next week, before you come back together, is I want you to think about what your thing might be. And one way to also think about what that thing might be is to think about what's the pattern that I've been displaying. What is the destructive pattern? It might not be destructive by eating too much or overeating, or, I mean, it might just be a bad habit that you haven't been able to kick. I'm gonna give you an example, a personal example of mine. And it sounds so small and so stupid. Every time I say this, I'm like, really, Tam? But it just had a huge impact in my life. So last year, I set personal goals for myself, and I've never had a cavity. Never had a cavity. And so, but I also didn't, up until last year, I never flossed. Because I never had a cavity, you know? So I brushed my teeth and whatever. And so my dentist, but every time I go to the dentist, my dentist would be like, you've got to floss your teeth. I'm also one of those people that be like, can you show me some evidence? Because I don't have cavities. So, I mean, every time I floss, it bleeds. Like, I'm not about to get up under there, and there's really no reason to. So, for some reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to set a goal to start flossing. It sounds stupid, I know. But once I really started to unpack, why is it so hard for me to develop the habit of flossing? It's good for your teeth, and really, no, I know why some reason. My dentist told me at my last appointment that if I didn't start flossing because it strengthens your gums, that I would probably need a full rack of dentures by the time I was like 50. And I was like, okay, well, that's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna develop a new habit, right? So I was motivated. So anyways, I was like, why is it so hard for me to just get up and floss before I go to bed? I mean, just do it. So part of that is I'm really, really, really sleepy at nighttime. That I mentioned my 2 little monsters that I chase after. And the other part is I just didn't want to. There's no consequence. I was suffering no consequence. And so for me, I had to unpack that belief that if I do this, or if I don't do this, there will be no consequence. So I wake up in the mornings and I start flossing every single morning. Before I do anything, I floss. So that's my new pattern that I'm starting to develop. The interesting thing that came out of this is, once I really developed a new behavior pattern of flossing first thing in the morning, I realized there were other areas of my life where I just would not do things. I would choose not to do things because I felt like there's no consequence. So I'm in a leadership role in my organization. I can show up to meetings 5 minutes late because half the meetings are my meetings and there's no consequence. Insert your whatever in this statement. I mean, small little areas in my own life where I developed a behavior all around the belief that I can do this because there's no consequence. All from flossing. So it's not always this big, grandiose, like you are just being completely destructive and it is blatant and in your face. Sometimes it's a small pattern that you've developed from what feels like and seems like a small, ineffective, destructive belief that's actually wreaking havoc in other areas of your life that you wouldn't realize until you start to really sit down and pin it down. So your challenge for the next week is to think about the pattern. Where is this destructive behavior, or just a behavior just not that fond of? So I'm not even gonna call it destructive because that's a strong word for a lot of people. A behavior that you're not that fond of. Where is that showing up? And I want you to spend the week really kind of narrowing down on the belief that has originated, that has propelled that thought. And I encourage you guys to take this seriously because you will be surprised the overwhelming impact that this will have in your life. And if it's related to body image, great, because that's the topic, okay? So, we're gonna wrap up. I did pretty good. So, in conclusion, any thoughts that anybody would like to share as we wrap up? The bottom line, approaching your body image, approaching these patterns that you all are going to identify over the next week, where these beliefs came from, the key, you don't hear me say anything else, the key to really disrupting that and to moving in a positive direction is through love. Really replacing that negative, ineffective belief with love. Because a lot of times those negative beliefs come from fear. The fear of not being accepted, a fear of not feeling, you just don't feel worthy. I mean, a lot of times fear is behind that negativity. And so the speaker said it in the video. I don't think I really reiterated it as much today, but certainly that's a great starting place for replacing that belief, okay? And just remember where they originate. And in that scenario of wherever it originated, a great way to test an assumption is to ask, as an adult, do I think that person had any merit in what in the world they were saying? Because sometimes as a child you think adults have a lot more merit than they actually do when you're an adult and you realize, oh, he was drunk at the time, so I don't really know. All right, okay, I'm done.
So, a couple of announcements. So you have that challenge. You also have in your book, you have a fact sheet. So part of the challenge is you've got to go back and you've got to read. remember, we didn't want you to come in, absorb information, and go back. So go back, there's some good information on self-esteem, some of what she went over, some additional information. The other thing I want you to do is this is the tech group, right? I want you to download an app. It's called Good Blocks. There it is right there. It's a game-like app, and what it does is it gets you to start recognizing those negative things that we say to ourselves sometimes. So play it a couple of times. So we really want you to think over the next 2 weeks about some of the things that we say to ourselves and to, again, replace those thoughts. The other thing I want to tell you about is we're getting ready to upload you to Google Classroom. And Google Classroom will allow you to, if you want to see the PowerPoint, get a copy of the PowerPoint, because we don't have that in your book, or if you want to go back to that video and watch it one more time. We put some references in your book. Most of them are web references, so if you want to click on some links and read more about a specific topic. When you see the request or the invitation from Google Classroom, it will come from my Gmail. Anytime we do anything with Google, they require you to use your Gmail account. So it'll come from Cynthia Williams Brown at Gmail. The next thing, and I forgot my notes, so Mary, help me if I forget something. The next thing is our students, my freshman first year experience class, they have to do a signature project. And 2 of my students are doing the project on the obesity prevention walk. It's called a Walk for Change. I think Marion sent the invitations tomorrow night. It's a 3K walk, 6 o'clock. Come out if you don't have anything to do and support the young people. I think it's a wonderful project that they're putting on. And then on the 14th, April 14th from 10 to 1, Morning Star is doing a fitness extravaganza. So if you want to come out, have some fun, get some exercise, come on out to Morning Star. And I think that's all I have. Right, if you're going to come tomorrow, because they will have snacks and door prizes, they need to plan. If you're going to come tomorrow, either, let us know tonight. If you're thinking about coming, let us know.
Can we get that as one of our 3 days?
I think that you can. Yes, I think that you can.
What's the price associated with it?
It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. It's going to be over in the Anderson Center parking lot. We're going to walk that trail. A 3K is probably about 2 miles. 2 miles, yeah. Supporting a good cause. So just let us know so we'll know how to plan for you. If you don't let us know if we don't have enough snacks for you, then okay, Mary's got a few things.
I know. She's like that. Trust me, the snacks are not major snacks, okay?
Yeah.
Bottle of water, maybe a granola bar.
Remember these friends?
These are students, they have no money, okay? They have no money, okay? I am going to sound like a broken record. I am going to sound like a broken record, but I've got to say this. Some people, I'm not saying you, but some participants are still calling or emailing or texting, asking when our makeup session. Look in your books right now and look at your calendar.
About page 5, count about 5 pages from the front. There you go.
Okay. And what group are you? Tech group. What is tonight? This is your, for those of you who are not making up. This is Thursday night. Okay. The makeup policy is, and the process is, you make up your session within your designated class week. So if you're on Thursday night, and you know you're not going to be able to come to Winston Lake on Thursday, you have Monday night at 6 p.m. at the Anderson Center. You have 3 opportunities on Tuesday. You have Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at Morning Star. Okay. Unless there's a major catastrophe, which we pray not, the dates and time schedules are always the same. Okay, now, if you know in advance that you're traveling or you have a life-changing emergency, you contact us and let us know, we'll work with you. The only call or text or email I should be getting about a makeup is telling me what session you're coming to make up. You should not be asking, when is a makeup? Unless we notify you in advance and say, these are niche, we're going to do this, that, and the other. We are no longer doing Sunday makeup. No more Sundays. So you've got to make up your makeups within that week. Now, you see the video camera. We are videotaping. You will get notification. We're going to start providing videotapes for makeup. But there's a major but there too. Don't just think because we're videotaping that you can sit at home and say, I'm not going to class and get a videotape. No, it's not going to be that way. There are some policies and procedures about the videotaping as well. So make plans to come to class. We understand life happens, but we need you to communicate with us. This is research. We need the data. Everybody understood? Yes. Oh, dang. Everybody, you don't have to be glum about it. Say yes.
Now, the evaluation, we did it a little differently. The first part of the evaluation is a self-evaluation. You had a weekly challenge last week. Can you be honest and give us your self-evaluation of what you did with that weekly challenge? And then the other part of the evaluation is still the same. Remember, we need your honest feedback. The second thing is we are going to start with providing you some incentive. You're halfway there and you're still with us. So the first incentive you will get is if you have perfect attendance. And we define perfect attendance that you've attended sessions every week, even if you had to go someplace else, and you didn't make us come on a Saturday or a Sunday to do a makeup. We've done like 3 or 4 makeups on Saturday, Sunday. We've done one on a Wednesday morning. Those are makeups, but if you missed a session, you came someplace else, we don't consider that a makeup. So if you have perfect attendance, Mary will give you a ticket, put your name on that ticket, we will verify, and the next time we come back, we'll have something for you. And then if you are doing good, again, when you come back, we'll have another incentive for you.
Now
We want you to come back.
remember, don't look for $1 million as an incentive. You know we ain't got no money. So just don't get it twisted. We ain't got no money.
Manage your expectations.
Right, exactly.